Alright guys, so this is going to be a semi-quick video. I got a message from a mate of mine, Paul, and he sent me a question which I thought would actually be probably quite good to tell everyone, but also to a point not to go too much into it, because and I'll explain why. He basically asked, I just wondered what you did to ensure that you found reliable suppliers. If anyone knows the story about Emergently, you know how much shit we have gone through with suppliers, of losing money, like thousands of money. My English is terrible sometimes, and it's my first language. I don't even have a second language unless it's sarcasm. So what did I do? I basically just gave it a shot. Like, I know that sounds like a really blasé answer to have, but I did. Like, I went on to AliExpress and Alibaba. So AliExpress is where you can kind of find middle ground people. So they already have the product, it's already done, and then you essentially just ship it. I found out AliExpress doesn't work because obviously I wanted to change what they were doing to make it my own brand, and they didn't want to, which, you know, understandable. Then I went to Alibaba, and that wasn't going to work, because frankly, because the quantities, I couldn't, for my first launch, I couldn't justify. Actually, it's not even justify. I didn't have the money. I didn't have the money to go and get 500 t-shirts and 1,000 snapbacks or something like that. I also didn't have the hype behind it. So there was no point of buying 500 t-shirts and then not selling them. Like, it kind of save yourself from fucking yourself over, really. I was actually quite lucky in the fact that my ex actually worked in promotional merchandising, and she practically did it all for me, which I'm grateful for, because now that I have to do it on my own, I realise how much work is behind it, and that's, I mean, it's a step forward, because obviously I'm not just getting stuff that's already made. With finding suppliers, I would definitely look at Alibaba if you want to do bulks. If you want to do bulks and you want to save yourself some money, like if you want to do between 500 and like 1,000 of items, like I think like 100 is like their minimum. If you want to do that, that's fine. Be aware that there's like $45 per sample. There's then shipping costs, then there's taxes and stuff like that. There's obviously a lot of things in play. Do not be offended that most people will not tell you who their supplier is. You know, Nike won't tell you who their supplier is. Pursue Fitness won't tell you who their supplier is. You know, Gymshark won't tell you who their supplier is, because when you get that foundation, when you get that relationship with a warehouse, with a supplier and stuff like that, you don't want to give that away, because essentially they could then just copy your product, which is fucking common these days anyway. Everyone's got the same thing. So yeah, finding reasonable, or you could, this is another thing that I did. I googled for like UK suppliers. There's a few companies. One definitely is called Hawthorns, I think, and it's based in London. I think it's a couple of guys who run it, and they're basically like the middleman, so they'll go and find the suppliers for you. So if you don't want to risk, essentially, getting it wrong like I did, I would fully recommend some guys like that who have already done it. There's also, what's his name? White label marketing or something like that. It's someone on Instagram. I think his actual name's Anthony Mellor. There it is. White 2 label. Okay. Focus on it. Come on, camera. White 2 label. So I've not used these guys before. Just FYI, this is not an ad. This is not me trying to sell this guy to you. But I do know Absolute Fitness apparel that he himself made. He was also a Young Digital Entrepreneur of the Year of 2018. The guy knows his stuff. If you want to kind of, if you're willing to invest more money into it, I would definitely recommend someone like this. Someone who's been there and done it. This is funny because you think I should probably market myself, but I don't want to do that. I don't have any passion of being the middleman for people. I have way too much going on at the moment. And then the second question is, how long is this? This is 6 minutes. I'm going to make a part 2, so watch out for part 2.